Hey everybody, it's Grant, and I'm just recording a video on actually how to re-grip your pickleball paddle. I've had a few people at the courts tell me, oh, I don't want to mess with the stock grip because I don't want to break it, or I don't know how, or just that they're intimidated by re-gripping their paddle. And I actually think re-gripping it is a fantastic way to customize your paddle to fit your needs. You might be somebody like me who has small hands, and so some stock grips are way too bulky, or you might have sweaty hands, and so they make special grips like this Gearbox moisture absorbing grip that actually help by absorbing the moisture, so you're not constantly wiping your hands on your shirt and your pants and everything and needing a towel when you play. They make contour grips, which I actually really enjoy in case you do have small hands and you can't use like a Hesicor or Nito Silver grip. I love me a good contour wrap grip so that I have places for my fingers. So today I'm actually going to regrip this brand new Gearbox Pro Ultimate elongated paddle that I just got. And so, because it's new, of course, you probably won't have to do this. I have to take off the plastic. And I think that the stock grip on these feel super tacky, fantastic. I've played with them a bunch, and I do have very sweaty hands, and I actually genuinely don't have a problem with Gearbox grips. I've had a problem with other grips. I've actually had other paddles when I've swung low, low to high, actually fly out of my hand from me just sweating so much. I've never had that problem with a Gearbox paddle. Have a proper grip. But the first thing you want to do, you probably just saw me do it. I didn't really explain what I was doing. But this rubber piece just slides right off. They're really nice looking, but you really just slide that off. Next, you'll find that there's a piece of almost like electric tape. And you'll see, hold this up for you to see, there's a seam right there. So what you want to do is either take a razor or something, or just a fingernail like I'm doing, and peel this tape. And you can see I'm just holding it and peeling it. And as I'm doing that, the grip itself, I'll show you from this side, will start to unwind. And you haven't broken your paddle. There's nothing wrong. Like, you can actually still feel the tackiness of this glue. So if you're going, oh, I want to stop right now, you can just literally take it and spin it back up, and boom, your grip is back to stock. But I do want to show you how to go the full distance. Gearbox is actually really nice because they use fully molded paddles. And they have really just nice grips. I think I've said that quite a few times at this point, but it's because I genuinely believe it. And there we go. Now what you want to do next is take your old overgrip, or sorry, not overgrip. This is your base grip. Take your old grip, set it down. And like I said, today we're going to try out this dry absorbing one. So I'll open this up. And I got a blue one just because I think blue looks cool. And this actually comes with a brand new rubber piece to go over. I'm going to stick with the Ultimate one. I really enjoy the color. It's a really nice color. And you can use either electric tape if you have it at home, or a good grip like a Gearbox will come with a fresh piece of this black tape on there. So we'll just slide that or open that right up. And 1, 2. Set this aside for now. Then we'll unwind our grip. Now, the back of this grip is basically a sticker. So I'll be unpeeling this as I'm putting the grip on. And what I like to do is, the way I generally hold my paddle it's just like this. So I never really want to feel the start of the grip, so I always start it on one of these sections, like one of the little contoured pieces. Not the flat one, but one of the sides. If you held this up and counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I will start on either 2, 4, 6, or 8. So an even. It's nice when you're using one of these because the logo always goes up when you're holding a paddle in your hand, right? And you want it to look nice. And so we'll start by undoing some tape. Whew. Got a lot of trash by me. Just gonna move this real quick. Clean up my work area. But I've undone some tape. I've touched it. It's not gonna ruin the grip. I've had people say, oh, the glue, but it's fine. It's really fine. So I've got this here. I've got my gearbox logo right now. When I look at it, it's faced down, but I know down is up when I'm looking at the paddle when it's right side up. So I'll start on right here at number 2. And all I did was stick the grip straight to it. I'll go from there just straight across, sticking my grip down and applying a bit of pressure as I rotate. So one big difference between replacing the base grip and an overgrip is an overgrip tends to be kinked. So that's how you kind of know where to start going down on the paddle, whereas like a base grip like this one, you'll actually see it's just cut straight across. And an easier way to see that is you can see where this dark blue line begins and where this light blue ends. So that's where we're going to start going down our racket or our paddle. All right, and so there we are, right there. You can see naturally this grip just wants to go down. And I know I'm kind of turning it away. It's because for me, I actually have to face it to do this. So I'll show you really quickly. When I look at it, it literally just looks like this. Okay, we'll keep going. And I apply quite a bit of pressure here. I don't like to have any gaps. So I'm pulling this very tight as I do this. I want a really tight feel. And so I'm applying, like I said, a lot of pressure. And once I'm around one full time, which I am now, I can show you exactly what I've done. So starting right here, you can see where it starts to come down. And I'm just following the natural path the grip wants to go. And I'll keep doing that now, where I put the tape, the sticky part, just right below this dark blue. And I overlap this fabric piece with the other fabric. And I literally just do that the entirety of my paddle. Like I said, I normally face myself, so trying to face the camera for me is a bit difficult. So sorry about that. But I'll just keep. There we go. And I'm unpeeling the sticky part as I'm going. I don't like to put ridges into my grip unless it is a contoured grip. So I want this thing to be as flat as possible. When I transition my grips, I don't want to have to think about that my finger will be caught on one of these flaps where it's not stuck down. So that's why I do it this way. And I really am just following this pattern now. From here, it's honestly, I think, even easier than installing an overgrip. So I'm towards the top now. And you might say, oh, I'll just buy a tennis grip and do this. I will tell you, with a tennis grip, you have a ton of extra material. So we're getting to the end of this gearbox grip. One thing I want to show you is, here's the stock one. Do you see how curved it is when I took it off? You would not say that this is curved, right? It's straight. Well, that's because when they're gripping this, they're doing the same thing I'm doing. All this tension that we're adding to make it nice and taut will curve the grip towards the end. So as I pull down, do you see how that curve is starting? Now the next thing is, I am past, I'm just unwinding it a bit so you can see. I'm past the inserts where the grip is, those nice plastic pieces, and I've just stuck it on. Now you could cut it off here and wrap it around and say I'm done. I like to make it feel pretty premium, like my grip kind of never ends. So I'm going to go past that, up around, and once I start to hit the actual face of the paddle right here, I'm going to try and cut it now to where I just wrap it around and it finishes right there. So the reason why I said, oh, tennis grip is hard to do this with, because I would have enough stuff to go out to here with, and cutting it can be quite a nightmare. But with this pickleball grip, actually what I do is I just stick it back across the face. I use a bit of logic to say, well, to get this to actually turn correctly, I need to cut where it's snagging, which is right here. And it doesn't need to be any longer than right here on the paddle so it can come straight down. So I start by cutting the end and removing the excess grip. Next, I unwrap it to the point where it's catching, or a little bit before that, off the face, and I know it caught right where I just made this crease. I don't know if you can see the crease. So I will cut straight across this now. Make sure that I hit the bottom of that crease. And I'll unwrap it a little bit more, just for good measure. But all I'm going to do now is cut straight across my grip, all the way. Using old kitchen scissors, so it's not the prettiest cut. But here we go. Now I've made my cut. And there we go. Just like I said, it ends right there. There we are. And if I need to recut it a little bit, I totally can. But you can see it goes around. I am going to cut a little bit lower, just because when I made that first cut, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little burr right there, and I don't want that. So I would rather have a little bit less to work with and have it really smooth all the way through than have too much. So I would definitely recommend use nicer scissors than the ones that you just have lying around in the kitchen when you do this. All right, there we go. Ooh, that's even way better. And it lines up. So now you might be saying, great, this is all done. I don't need any of these pieces anymore, but I gotta come back to that black piece of tape that I got in the beginning. What I like to do is, you'll see there's two ends There's one that's slightly undone already with a little tab, and then there's this other end, which hasn't been started yet. I like to pop the tab off. I put it right on this corner, right where it's exactly the same thickness as where I had cut. So I'll just stick that on right there. And I go the same direction that I was gripping the paddle. And since, you know, we cut all the glue off where this end is, right? Like, you'll see when you do this, that the corners, these sides, there's no glue there. And so this really helps to hold that little piece into place. Sorry, when I was manipulating the paddle in my hands, I stuck it down preemptively. There we go. And I'll just tape this straight on. All right. And so now, if you look, this is just taped straight to it. And I'll go around, and I make this taut. I'm not trying to tear the tape, but I am keeping it quite taut. I have accidentally taped my tape to itself, but that's okay. Like, the glue's not going to be weaker because of that. So I just undo that and wrap straight through. And I like to put the end over the end to where nobody could even tell where this starts and ends. There's a little bit of overlap here because I crossed it instead of going down and up. I just think that holds really well. Now we can take the stock one or the one that it came with. Take the stock one. I know this is a long video. Overgripping takes a while. So I actually had a friend meet me 20 minutes before we played just to help him set up his paddle one time. And we went through all this. I went, well, I should just make a video that somebody could watch at 1.5 times speed or 2 times speed. Or they can watch it and do it with me so they don't feel bad. But now, boom, our grip is installed. It still feels fantastic. It feels a little less tacky than their base one, but I would expect that because this one is meant to absorb water. I can already tell you right now it's a little bit squishier. So we'll see when I play with it how that translates, because like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of a squishy grip. But it's sticking to my hand like really well. So I'm just holding it with my thumb and it's working pretty good. So it's not really sliding out, whereas I know other paddles that would. But yeah, if you stuck with me to the end, thank you, and I hope that you have an easier time regripping your paddles and you don't feel like that you're breaking them anymore. So shout out to Gearbox, Team Gearbox, and thank you. Have a wonderful night, day, and let's go play some pickleball.